Hello, everyone, and welcome to Youngstown's Talk Channel. We are the MLO Bros, Luke, Isaac, and then you got Joe from Youngstown Studio off screen here. I don't know if you can see him or not, but he's going to be with us too today. And you can call in about any of the topics we discuss. Phone number is 330-595-1600. This is Youngstown Talk Channel. Our objective of this channel is because Youngstown Radio is disappearing in the future. It is going away. There's only, I think, one actual Youngstown Talk Radio channel left. So we are trying to replace that in the future. We're going to try and figure out a way to get on the radio. You're going to be able to turn us on at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and we're going to take you all the way through 5 p.m. Turn us on when you get to work and stay with us till you leave. We have somebody on the phone lines already. So we're going to go directly into that. This is discussing the West Branch girls basketball coach is what we're going to start with. So he's busy, very busy man. Let's bring him on.
You might sound familiar.
Go ahead, caller.
Well, hello, guys. I appreciate the someone is on the phone line. I appreciate you bringing me on like that.
Of course, Justin. And you know what, Justin? We just want you to know, you are just the best. You are just the best, Justin. We really appreciate you.
This is Justin from the 330 Sports Show, by the way, who also goes out of Youngstown Studio. And we were harassing while we were off air.
I'm honored to be on with you, gentlemen.
Well, we just to get everybody while we're giggling, we were off air, but before we came on live, Justin could hear us on the microphones. Nobody else could.
But none of you at home.
And none of you could. And we were literally harassing.
I was saying some of the worst things I ever said to a human being ever to Justin in the back room, so he couldn't respond. And now this is the first time he's talking to us.
I think that could be its own show in the future.
Just
record what's going on behind the scenes.
Oh God, no!
Oh man,
we'll all go to jail.
Justin, so what do you got for us, man? Give us so the people dealing with the situation.
Let me set the stage first, Justin.
Yeah.
Let me set the stage. So, Justin, let me set the stage here real fast. West Branch local girls basketball coach. What was his name? Walt DeShields was fired after unbelievable seasons, and Justin can get into this. Last season, he was 22-3, and he was fired. And there's all kinds of rumors going around the internet. There's the school board member's kid on the team. Parents are unhappy. And it's kind of shocking when you see somebody 22-3 get fired. So, Justin, what do you got, buddy?
So I can't claim to know Walt well, but I can tell you, and it's been, 4 to 5 years since I've interacted with him, but I coached in some summer leagues with him and got involved. And I also, one of his career wins is against me when I was coaching at Boardman. I think they beat us like 58-48. But I just want to speak to him. What I know of him is a good dude, a stand-up guy. He would share his film via, so we could scout other opponents. And again, just a really nice guy from what I understand. And you look at his career record and, if he was doing stuff off the court or getting in trouble legally or something, I could understand making a change. But by all accounts, he's a stand-up guy. He's a good dude. He's a great coach. He's put many athletes into college basketball. There's one at YSU right now with the girls, Sophia Gregory, that's playing at Youngstown State, and he's put many more. I think his son was a great football player at West Branch as well. So he's not only that father role, he's a coach role. So again, I don't want to speak like I know him super well, but by all accounts, he's a good dude and a great basketball coach. So I don't know what the change would be.
We had 2 or 3 cousins play under him. 4 cousins.
Yeah.
Play under him. All girls, all played under him. Them and the parents all messaged us. I got some texts saying he's an unbelievable coach. He's super polite. He's good to the girls. He makes the kids want to win. You know what I mean? Like, we had nothing but good comments about this guy.
Justin, what do you think?
Well, I learned something.
Okay, go ahead.
So in one of the news articles, and I confirmed it with somebody at West Branch, they are making cuts to teachers that have been there for a while.
Okay.
And they're cutting them because
Okay.
not enough money. He's one of them.
So the excuse is going to be
so he's losing his job as a teacher.
And they don't want bad blood. So they're just like, hey, we're going to get rid of you here too.
I don't know. But I do know he is getting cut. Like it said it in the news, and then I double checked with the schools.
So I don't know how the teacher contracts would work. That would be a whole separate issue. But basketball as a coach would be a supplemental contract, which are year to year. And from what I understand, at least around some of the local districts, I have only coached in Boardman, but that is a flat rate contract, a flat percentage contract. So it's not like he's negotiating for a higher rate or something. That whatever he would make as a coach or as a supplemental would be locked in. So his teaching job might be different, but the coaching aspect, that should hold no weight on any sort of financial stipulations on the district.
You and I have both coached high school basketball. You do not do it for the money. You do not do it for the money. Let's get that square. There is
no.
When you break down the hours, you end up making like $1 an hour. Like that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah,
it's because you love it. You know what I mean? You're not doing it to make money.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, you do it for the love of the game, but you also are trying to mold those student athletes into the best people first, and then players and student athletes second. So I don't know.
Yeah, I coached.
I don't know. I just wanted to call, guys. I gotta go, but I just wanted to call in and give my quick 2 cents on that. So appreciate you taking the phone call.
We appreciate you too, Justin. Thanks for opening the eyes of the people.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you too, Justin. Right.
Were you waiting to say that?
For like a long time.
You were waiting
for such a long time.
Inside joke. So I agree with Justin. Coaching kids, and you haven't coached really yet. You helped me with basketball.
I coached 6th grade.
Basketball with me for like half a thing, which was fun. You get really close to those kids.
Yeah.
Even in that
for
point,
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's funny is
one season, and then I did a fall season.
Right. Yeah. I coached Isaac. I coached a bunch of grades around Isaac. And to this day, a lot of the kids I see, not so much Isaac's friends, but a lot of the kids that aren't call me coach still, which is very, very weird.
Right.
Lucas, my oldest I've coached, they all call you coach still. Right. And they're like they're 8th graders, right? It's just it's a unique relationship when you have a coach and player, and it's a good relationship. And I know why these kids and these parents that like him are going to defend him.
Right. Especially if his statistics show that he's winning. He's winning.
What is
getting to they said he got to the Final Four multiple times during COVID. The girls were pulled off the court when they could have made it to state. But yeah, if you are
love to hear people call in.
If you were coached by him, or if you had girls that were coached by him, call in, please. 330-595 1600. We love to hear from you. What do you got? Statistics. Go ahead. What do you got?
He's coached there for 20 seasons.
Okay.
He's amassed a record of 379 wins to 110 losses, resulting in a 76% winning percentage. That is freaking crazy.
That's phenomenal
for girls basketball.
Yeah.
Throughout the tenure, he never experienced a losing season.
Wow.
Leading the Warriors to 7 district titles, 8 league championships, 2 state semifinal appearances in 2015, 2020. In the 2024-25 season, despite returning only 2 starters, which is impressive, by the way, because starters are important, he guided the team to a 22-3 record, securing a 2nd consecutive Eastern Buckeye Conference title and earning both the EBC and a Northeast Inland District Coach of the Year honors. He was Coach of the Year, and they fired him.
Wow.
Got to get rid of that guy. He's way too successful.
Seriously.
Right. It's just dumb.
So
then you ask why are they getting rid of him other than just the contract,
that the contract. I mean, I'm like you, because you made a post, like Isaac made a post, and it was immediately
I commented on our post. I
commented on the post. Guaranteed there's a school board.
Well, I just asked the question. Is there a school board member or whoever fired him? Do they have anybody on the team?
They do. There's like 2 or 3.
What do you know?
From what I'm hearing, though, the girl didn't play varsity, she played JV.
Okay.
One of them. I don't know about the other ones. I don't know if it was a playing time issue. I immediately went there too. When I see somebody like that getting fired,
Right.
I immediately think, oh, parents are pissed.
Right.
We have seen it over and over and over and
Right.
over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Parents don't like playing time. They go right to the freaking school board. I've seen it. Everybody on the show has probably seen it. I like watching right now.
Yeah.
You've had to see it.
Parents are just the worst.
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah.
And they're getting worse.
And it's like, at what point, if you have a coach like that, that's that good, that's that good at coaching, you think he knows how to make the decisions. He has the statistics and the credibility to know who should be playing because he's won. So think of the lesson you're teaching your daughter.
Right.
If you're on that, if that is the reason you are moving the goalpost, you are telling your daughter, don't worry, daddy's going to take care of it or mommy's going to take care of it.
No.
We're going to get you playing time. We're going to remove this guy rather than, listen, I trust the coach. I know that coach is good. That's what they should be saying to this daughter. He's good. So you're going to have to work harder if you want that position.
What you should be saying to those kids, what I say to my kid, my kids,
what are you doing in the offseason?
What are you doing in the offseason?
Right.
What did you do to get better? And I'm going to tell you right now, the little kids, like I'm saying 6th grade and down is a time for every kid to play.
Right.
You should not have kids sitting out.
Right.
Every kid should rotate in. Every kid should play.
Yeah.
7th and 8th grade, I still think you rotate in, but not as much.
Right. You winning first.
Winning first in 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
High school and up, you win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not developed by 9th grade to play,
right,
that's it.
Right.
Now I'm not saying those 9th graders and 10th graders aren't going to get better. They're going to grow. They're going to, you know what I mean? They're going to get their work 100%.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get better playing in games if you're not good there. And I used to have a talk when I coached freshmen. I had a couple parents call me saying, why is my kid playing more?
Right.
I said, because we're trying to win. Well, he needs to play in order to get better. I said, no. He's practicing. He's getting better. What did he do in the off season? What did he do during the spring? What did he do during the fall before basketball? Well, he played He played baseball and football.
Right.
Did he play any rec leagues? Did he? No.
Right. Right.
There wasn't enough time. Okay. Then
Right.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's just the way it is.
You have to be undeniable if you want to play.
And then the other thing is too, kids, I had this conversation with some parents when like JV. I hate to tell you this, your kid's learning a lesson.
Right.
Sometimes people are going to be better than you at things.
Right.
Right.
And if you want to be better than them, you have to work extraordinarily hard.
And even then,
work when they're not working.
Even then,
sometimes you're still going to lose.
Sometimes you're going to suck at something.
Right.
And you're not going to get it.
Right.
You're not going to be good.
Right.
You're not going to go out in the real world and get a job. There's going to be people better than you.
And then it hits, I feel like it hits you in the face. And then now as an adult, I think back and it's like, man, I should have in the off season, I should have worked harder.
Yes.
I should have tried harder. I should have not played as many video games, you know?
Lucas will probably, Lucas, I'd share this. So Lucas, my 14-year-old story time, got cut in 7th grade. Basketball. Loves basketball. Cut.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Devastated. But he's like, okay. So I pulled him aside. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you shooting classes. If you want to do it, I'm not going to force you to do it.
Right.
You can play my adult league with me where you play against men.
Yeah.
You're a 13-year-old. I did it with you.
Yeah.
You're going to play against men. You are going to get the shit kicked out of you.
Yeah.
They are going to post up on you.
Yeah.
They are going to block you.
They're going to swat you into
They're
the
gonna
wall.
Swat you into the wall. You are going to get beat on.
Yeah.
But you're going to get better. So he grew. He grew 7 inches, 8 inches. He worked hard. 8th grade, biggest win of his life. He made the team after getting cut. Okay. He sits on the bench almost here, right?
But he made the team. That's huge.
Yeah, he makes the team. Yeah. Sits on the bench. He would go in for like 2 minutes at the end of the game.
Right.
Okay. He was like fan favorite, by the way. He'd go in and people started cheering and stuff. Right. And then after the season, he did not complain one time.
Right.
Because he was happy to be on the team.
Yeah.
He loved the coach.
Yeah.
Even though if that was me, I would have been so pissed.
Yeah.
I never said anything. I never did anything. End of the season. What does he freaking say? He says, I want to play in the league still. I want to do 2 leagues, and he's doing AAU. He's playing basketball 4 days a week.
And it's like, it's so awesome. to see his growth.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yes.
It's all about, wow, this kid's getting better. He's not chubby anymore. He's not my little freaking meatball.
No, he's in shape now.
What I call him turd. He's not my little chubby turd anymore.
Yeah.
Like
He's like
it's
5'11",
and I'll never tell him.
Yeah.
I'll never tell him. I could like just keep working, keep your head to the freaking
so he's doing
grindstone.
track.
Yeah.
So last night we had a game against adults. Like when he first started, he was scoring 2 to 4 points.
Yeah. Now he's
Now
up 16.
He's 16, 17,
yeah,
18 points a
dude,
game.
that's against adults. That's
Adults.
awesome.
He's covering adults.
Yeah.
He's shutting them down. Like
That's
I'm
awesome.
like,
Yeah.
it's so good. So good.
BJ, get out here. Don't you dare comment. You come here and you talk at this microphone right now.
BJ's literally in the back room. BJ, you get your butt in here, BJ. You and your little hat. Sorry, BJ's coming.
He has he tried commenting and he doesn't come out here and talk.
BJ's like, what the fuck? Everybody, this is BJ. He's Youngstown Marketing. Is that who could we say?
Youngstown Studio.
Just Youngstown Studio. All right, what do you got?
So I was a sports editor for the Salem News out of college for like 8 years, 9 years. Walt DeShields was the coach down there when I was there. He's a super nice guy, like everybody else says. But so I have 2 other sources that I reached out to that I used to work with or work peripherally that know all the ins and outs. One of them said he was on the rehire list.
That's what I was. Yeah.
So what that means is then, quote unquote, like BOE members will use that to throw people out that they don't like, because then what happens is the rule is that you have to be a teacher there. So a teacher gets first choice at that job. Because he's no longer a teacher, a BOE member can use that against them to get them out.
Get him out because a teacher has first preference of a position.
Right. And then
which
the other
never made any sense, right?
A BOE member was pissed off because
the kid didn't play enough.
Yeah. So that
is from a reliable source.
Yes.
Kid should have been playing varsity and he was on, or she should have been playing varsity and she was on JV. She was pushed to JV is what.
Is that what you think?
Yeah,
is that speculation? Or is that...
Well, if you said that the kid was playing JV.
But I think there's more than one. I don't know. If somebody confirm, is there more than one if you're watching at home? Is there more than one kid, school board kid? Because none of that surprised me if that happened. None of that surprised me. What else?
I mean, and that's happened. But so when I was a sports editor, that happened frequently. That happened with, I remember Sebring had a coach that was super successful. Same deal. They used they used that rehire thing to kind of get him out, and they had like personal issues with that. I think they had issues with the dude's personal life at the time, whatever, because he got remarried or something, and
they use that as an excuse, and they're going to cover it up as they're going to make an excuse. What's going to come out if that's the case? That school board's going to make an excuse.
The one source that I have said that he thinks that they're going to come to their senses and rehire him because of all the backlash.
Right.
But it's a shame that it's got to come to everybody being like, what the F are you doing?
Right.
To rehire. Like, you know what I mean? Like that guy's like literally the nicest guy, one of the nicest guys I ever had.
And that affects your reputation as decision makers. Because you are going to make that decision when he's statistically crushing it.
Yeah.
That's not good.
The problem is, here's my thought on this. School boards have always gotten away with this kind of shit until social media, until podcasts, until this kind of stuff. All of a sudden, it's like this is what's happening. Everybody knows it's happening, but there's a platform to freaking go at.
There's one good thing about social media, it's communication. Joe, we got somebody on the line.
And parents, like you said,
parents suck.
They are the worst.
That's why I wore my shirt, by the way.
When I was a sports editor too, I got like death threats from parents for not putting their kid in the
paper
enough.
It's brutal.
Saying people would yell at me because we started taking photos.
Just going into the paper.
What's that?
They did the paper.
Well, no. So I would get death. They would email like anonymously or do whatever, and then I would get harassed at games. Like I'm sitting there taking photos of your kid, like to put in the paper to cover them. And there were some just whack job parents out there.
This is that expert that Justin said.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks, BJ.
Yeah, sure.
So thanks, buddy. That's good. All right.
There aren't enough.
All right, caller, go ahead.
Fedoras.
Hello. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, this is Rich. I was asked by Justin to call in to discuss Walt Shield.
Yeah. What do you got?
I'm not really prepared. I thought there was a full discussion going on, but I've known Walt for a lot of years. I cover girls basketball. I've been in Northeast Ohio for 15 years now. I do national stuff, and just what's going on with Walt is a shame. So,
do you think it's the school board pushing him out because of playing time, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't have privy to all the intimate details, but what I was told there's a local AAU coach that coaches a lot of the West Branch kids, and just over the last year or two, been a lot of sour apple talk, telling kids that, they don't get the right playing time or they don't get the right respect or their talents aren't being used correctly. And, now they finally got up in the heart of the right person that has some kind of pull, and from my understanding, I talked to Walt yesterday, extensively, but from a couple other people that I've talked to, the one board member is a parent, and she's the one kind of leading the charge. The other board members have no issues with Walt.
Right.
And the impression I got was they said it was a unanimous decision, and then the other board member said, "Wait a minute, we did not take part in this." And now that's why they're kind of backpedaling. So,
right, because the community caught them, and now they're getting backlash from it. I'm sure.
You said,
absolutely, like,
yeah.
And caller, you said there were sour apples. Do you think that's players that are on the team that are like, hey, this AAU coach would be better? Or do you think that, and I'm not getting enough playing time and I would get more playing time if that AAU coach was our coach? Or do you think it's parents as sour apples that are saying this AAU coach would play my daughter more, so they should replace the current coach?
I couldn't answer that. Honestly, I would hate to speculate on that.
Right.
I just, you can tell some parents, you can tell anything, and unfortunately there's a lot of parents out there that would value their kid playing more over their kid playing less on a winning team. And that's a shame. But, Walt has, as you guys probably know, he's been here 20 years. He's never had a losing record.
Right.
I think something like that. 12 out of the last 14 years, he's won 20 games, something like that. 7 or 8 league championships, the last 2. He's going into year 3 as the reigning champion, coach of the year.
Yeah.
The last 2 years. He got the state award that only one coach in the entire state gets as far as character and integrity and sportsmanship award.
Right.
You can't point to the guy's character as, it's just, when they say they're going in a different direction, I think the community wants to know what direction that is, because the direction they're already in is pretty awesome.
Right.
I mean, I read this over 379 wins, 110 losses, 76% winning percentage, 22-3 record last year. Coach of the Northeast Inland Coach of the Year, EBC Coach of the Year. He had the Bob Arnzen Award, which recognizes basketball coaches who had devoted 20 consecutive years or more of service to the same school, reflecting his loyalty and commitment to Ohio. And then you're cut.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. Well, thank you, caller. We appreciate you for calling in. We'll keep discussing it here.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I think it's important. Like, I have a great relationship with Walt. Like I said, I'm not in Ohio anymore. I'm on the national level, so I just don't get down there as much. But Walt will be the first one to tell you, and his kids, his former players, will be the next one to tell you, like, it isn't even about the wins for Walt. Like, Walt is a stand-up, high-character, high-integrity guy who would trade every win he had and every award he had if that meant all his kids would be successful after they graduated.
Wow.
And that's his biggest standard. Again, the wins happen, like, he can't take them back. But his emphasis has always been on helping young women grow, mature, be ready for life and be successful. And the vast majority of his kids have done that. And they'll back him on that, and the school board's going to find that out. You can't ignore that.
Right.
You know, there are coaches that are out there just for the wins, and that's just not Walt. He'll trade them gladly for the success of his players. So that kind of stuff. I know the stats and the awards are going to get thrown around a lot now, but just his character, his integrity is second to none, and that should be showcased as well.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks a lot for calling, man. We appreciate it, and thanks for calling.
Absolutely.
We'll keep covering this for sure. Thanks.
Yeah, you too. So everybody, what I would love to hear from, and
Something
I know
stinks. Something stinks with this.
Yeah.
Something stinks. You called it the second you saw that,
Right.
Isaac. You called it. Something stinks. Someone, if that is the case, that school board member needs to get voted out.
You know who I want to hear from? If there's parents watching, if Walt is watching, I would love to hear from him. So if
Walt's probably in school right now.
Well, is he?
He's a
didn't
teacher.
Didn't you say he got
Next year.
cut? Oh, next year. He's probably maybe he's in study hall right now. Maybe it's a study hall period. Call in, Walt. We want to hear from you.
All right. Anything else on that? Anybody else want to make any comments or anything?
Yeah,
we're
seeing
going to
comments.
monitor that.
Andrea says one board of education member has a daughter in high school. Denise says someone in that school district needs to run against the school board member and defeat that person as soon as he or she is up for re-election. See, here's the thing. It's like you make a decision like that goes against everything your voters believe in, you are not going to get reelected. But then at the same time, if it's a parent that will do anything for their kid, they could care less. You know?
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's like you're doing your kid a disservice by doing that.
100%.
You're doing your kid
teaching
a
them the
disservice.
wrong lesson.
Yes, you're doing your kid a
You're
disservice.
teaching them the wrong.
All right, Joe, did you hear about what the mayor said?
Oh, well, yeah, I think I did.
Mayor
So go
Youngstown.
Mayor
Let's go.
Youngstown. All right, you ready?
We're taking a turn.
We're going to take a little turn here, and we're going to get into a new game show called "Is It Racist?" It's a new game show. Is it racist, Joe? You like this one in your studio?
This is good.
Just one might get inspired.
Yeah.
Is it racist? All right, I'm going to play this.
I'll look for
Good
the
thing we have no sponsors.
We have no sponsors to the newest game called "Is It Racist?" I'm going to try and play this up here. See if you hear it. I don't know if it's going to come through or not, but you got to listen to what he says, and then we'll kind of talk about it.
I 100% disagree with them trying to embrace the history of our community. I will continue to use this as mayor to make sure that when we hire individuals, I make sure they look like us. I make sure they look like our community. They can tell me what I believe, but they can't tell me why I hire. If you look at my administration in the city government, police chief, fire chief, law director, chief of staff. If you look at the young people who work in the city of Youngstown, I'm using my opportunity to make sure that we hire for the next generation.
Okay. He said, just to review,
When we hire, I make sure they look like us.
I make sure they look like us. If you look at my administration, look at the police chief, look at the fire chief, who are all black. Okay?
Yes.
Is that racist?
So, okay.
That's my question. And this is a sticky topic. I know it's a sticky topic, but we have to talk about it.
If I was in there, if I lived, we have a listing on the west side. Go check it out. If I buy this listing that we have on the west side, I win over the people. I become mayor, and I get in there and I say, when we hire people, I make sure they look like us.
Right.
So that's one argument, right?
What if I at my place of work, my loan officers, I hire somebody and I say I need to make sure they look like us.
So
Can I push back on this?
go ahead.
So look like us. Could that be referring to the demographic makeup of the city? So that if they're representative of what the population is, they want it to reflect in the government?
Yes, until he said the police chief and the fire chief.
And all of them, which all of the different people that he listed
Are black.
What do they look like?
Okay.
They're all black.
All right. Dang, that didn't hold up.
I'm just saying.
What do they look like? Maybe he's talking about how well dressed they are.
I don't think he is.
Maybe he's talking about. So here's the problem.
I just can't.
It doesn't even. and I will break it down, doesn't even have to be a racially divided thing. Well, I mean, it kind of does, but it's not a white or a black thing. It's not. It truly isn't. You're not supposed to hire people based on what they look like, plain and simple. Like
Anywhere,
any job, you should be hiring people based on how good they are
right?
at that job.
Right.
I don't give a crap what
Right.
they look like.
Right.
That's how my mind works. I don't care what they look like. If they're white, if they're black, it doesn't matter. I get along with people if I get along with people. I could give a shit what they look like. That when it comes to being a mayor of Youngstown, you shouldn't be saying like stuff like that. You should be saying, hey, I understand people want somebody that they can relate to. I get that. I
Right.
love that. But what's best for Youngstown is what's best for Youngstown. It doesn't matter what they look like.
When I hire people at our bank, I hire the people who I think are going to do a good job as a loan officer.
Yeah.
We have.
Don't.
I'm doing it.
Let's not talk about that. No, you're good.
We have black guys.
Oh God.
We have gay people. We have straight people. We have females.
Yes.
We have males. There's nothing wrong with that.
Why?
Why?
There's nothing wrong with
why
that.
are you-
But like, why do we even have to bring that up? I don't.
Because I want to bring it up because that's how you're supposed to hire people, Isaac.
I know you're supposed to hire them based on.
I don't look at that. So our mayor of Youngstown is hiring people. Oh, and by the way, the mayor of Youngstown, if you guys don't remember, hired his freaking daughter-in-law
Yeah, that's nepotism.
when she was not, according to the charts, the best person for the job.
Right.
And they cover it up by saying, oh, HR, she was interviewed, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Bull crap.
Right.
Nepotism.
Right. 100%.
Nepotism. I mean, again, I'm so tired. And then
And I get, and like you can even defend to an extent. You can defend the fact that what percentage of Youngstown voters voting for mayor are black, are white? What's the demographics? What's the, you know what I mean? Like what percentage is black?
You want me to look it up?
Yeah, let's
it
do
up.
it. Let's do it.
But it,
Because because that is how Tito won. Tito was able to go. He went to the black churches and was able to convince everybody to vote for him.
listen,
And he talked to
If-
that demographic.
if the people, I am fine. Okay, I am fine if the people want to vote. What's up,
Isaac,
Right.
how are you,
Mail
sir?
time. Thank you, sir.
How the crew doing?
We're
Good.
good. How are you doing? How's the
He
mail
looks
route?
through my
You
mail.
still have your job. You're good.
Isn't that illegal?
I think it's only it's
There go the man.
so. Mailman, I have a question for you. Is it illegal for Luke to look at the front of the mail, or does he have to legally like open it for him to break a law?
If you open it, you broke the law.
Yeah, I'm allowed to look at the
He's
front.
allowed to
though.
look at the front.
Dude, but that's just rude.
Not-
It's rude.
But not if the owner of the mail don't want you to.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
See, Isaac's got my
He
back.
doesn't want you seeing his ambiance. His mail from ambiance.
I didn't know strip clubs have charge charges, Joe. That's so weird.
That's so crazy.
There's your demographics.
Okay, so demographics: Youngstown, Ohio, and this is like that would vote for mayor. I don't know if this is
Just total demographics makeup. If you want me to do the electorate, I can do that.
So
Do the
this
electorate,
makes
yeah.
sense though.
Wow.
Here's more detailed breakdown. White non-Hispanics 41%, blacks and African Americans 40%, two plus non-Hispanics 5.8%, 2 plus Hispanic 4.58%.
Interesting.
So it's pretty much split
Interesting.
black and white.
That
you know?
can't, I want to see the voting. I think.
Yeah, if you do voters in Youngstown,
Um,
because I don't know if that's Youngstown like as a whole, or if that's
yeah,
just
it's like
the voting
Youngstown.
Yeah, is
we
that
need, like,
including
the city
Boardman?
of Youngstown? Is
Yeah.
what we need.
Because that's the only people who are allowed to vote for mayor.
Let's see here. This is good.
Diversity and ethnicity.
No, that is it. Look,
Yeah, dude, look how close that is.
look at that.
White's 24.6, black is 24.1. But that's a huge chunk of the demographic.
Wow.
That's a huge chunk.
Huh.
I mean, almost
I didn't
half.
know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that at all. I would have thought, wow.
So what the game plan would be his game plan was to go to the black churches, convince every single black person to, if you play that game and you want to do that and say, listen, if you're black, vote for me, that it's an effective strategy. Obviously.
I was going to say, I have no problem with black voters voting for somebody just because they're black. because that's their right to do that.
Right.
Right. I have no problem with that.
You have a problem with a white guy voting for a white guy because he's white instead of black?
No, I really don't, because that's your right to vote.
Yeah, you can
I mean,
pick whoever
it's
you want.
terrible, but
you can
yeah.
pick whoever you want.
You can pick
They're not-
whoever you want.
I can think it's wrong, but I don't. You have a right to vote
Right.
for whoever the hell you want, no
Correct.
matter what you think,
Correct.
even if you're a piece of shit.
I have a problem.
Personally.
Right. Exactly. I have a problem with the mayor
Yeah,
saying I'm hiring people because of the color of their skin,
right,
not based on their
Right.
credentials.
right,
I would have a problem. I would have more like if it was a white mayor saying that,
right,
what would happen?
right.
What would happen if a white mayor said, I'm only
Right, right.
hiring people that look like me? Like, what would happen? Like, you'd be freaking annihilated.
At a national level.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine?
Right, right. Because it's not about.
It's not about
that.
that.
It's about putting whoever's best.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then I got like, so we posted that video, and then I got messages, and I'm not going to go over the mess, like people saying like the council does it like that. The council tries, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
man, put
Well,
the people who are the best in place.
Right. And as two guys that live in the suburbs, you live in Poland, I live in
Right.
Camden.
And we're talking about Youngstown, and I know everyone's going to be like, oh, why are
Oh,
we
you
talking
don't know what it's all about. You live in the
Right,
suburbs.
exactly.
Hey, guys, I want you guys to do good so that I can come down here and go to dinner and not get shot. But,
Right. Or not even just shot.
just
like
spend my
businesses.
money. I want to have fun down here.
I
I
would
want to
want-
do fun stuff.
I would want the smartest people in any area, local, whatever, government,
Right.
Poland Village, Canfield. You want the smartest people that are best at their jobs in those
I
positions.
want it to get better. Similar topic of conversation I want to ask you about. That's more of a national. level.
Okay.
You have a majority of, I think this is statistically happening. Somebody can quote me if I'm wrong here, or find that I'm wrong here. If you have a college, right?
You have a college.
Best and brightest colleges,
Yeah.
like Ivy League schools, majority of the applicants, or the best of the best, is Asian.
Okay.
Do you let every person get in there that's Asian?
Yes.
Or do you say, no, we need more diversity? So that's the question. So what they're doing is they're saying,
Well,
listen,
that's like affirmative action
listen,
stuff.
listen, we got too many.
Sure. Yeah.
They're like, listen, we got too many Asians. So then what you, I know, I'm like, if they deserve it, let them in. If they're American, let them in. Like, if they're the best, they're the best. I don't care what they look like.
Who
But
cares?
then the argument would be, okay, all the smartest, the best, and the brightest are all going to be Asian.
Well, they already are, because that's what they're getting into college. Like,
Right.
but they deserve it.
Right, 100%.
Who
I'm
cares?
right on the same page as you. Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
just like you guys are talking coaching, they start in their culture, they start with their education when they're 12, 13 years old. The
Right.
off season for them
Right.
is becoming the best and brightest. Why not
Right.
reward
Yeah,
that?
it's not sports. It's
But
freaking being smart.
I don't
Yeah.
care if, you know what, in Poland, Ohio, where I live, I would not care if all of the township trustees were Asian.
Right.
If they're the smartest
And they're
best
making,
at their
and
job.
they're just making youngsters. All of them are Asian. It's like totally looks nothing like everybody else.
Right.
Or like something completely like Eskimos. Like, just do not represent us at all. Do not look similar to us at all. And they're just making Youngstown awesome. I would have no problem. I would have zero. I was like, do not care what they look like.
Right.
They're doing a good job. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. I'm coming down. There's rooftop bars in Youngstown. There's rooftop pools in Youngstown. All kinds of cool stuff. Like, hell yeah, bring more Eskimos.
Are we going
Send
to
more
are we
Eskimos.
us talking like this? Are we going to get called entitled white people? Is that is that
Probably.
the road this goes down?
But I'm like defending. I'm defending the diversity though. Like, you ever heard the argument that like the gays move into an area like they did it in Columbus? They moved into like the west side of Columbus. They renovated a bunch of homes and like made them awesome. And then because the gays like had their little community, there, they made the east side. I forget what part of Columbus it was. Awesome. All these other people flocked to it, and then like people in Columbus are like, send more gays. This is awesome. Like and then people like, I heard it on a talk show, and then people were like, send gays to Youngstown. Yeah, right. Like, send them over there. I could give a shit. Like,
I don't
make it
care.
better. Yeah,
I
make
don't
it
care.
better.
I don't
It
get
doesn't matter what your anything is. Just do a good job.
Right.
I don't care. So if you only hire the black population, why would anyone want to be a part of the city? This extends to other things too. Why would you open a business when the mayor hates you and wants you to fail? Why does this help investment in the city? So my argument would be, My argument would be, why would you open a business when the mayor hates you? I don't think and I'm defending Tito.
Yeah.
I don't think Tito hates white people. Saying that you want to hire people that look like you, I disagree with that. But at the same time, I don't think Tito Brown hates white people by saying that.
His point, he goes, sorry, Joe, one more time. He went in, if you listen to the whole thing,
Yeah.
he goes in a little bit farther
Right.
into saying him hiring black people helps the city and gives the youth something to look up to and a representation.
Right.
Right.
Which I don't think that's wrong. But at the same time, can they look up to a white person, like or any colored person if they're doing a good job in making the city better?
What are you teaching your kids by saying I only hire black people so you can look up to only black people?
Right. And as a melting pot,
right.
shouldn't we have all people of all colors and races and whatever in all these different communities, and so that these kids growing up see people as role models that they say this person's a role model. It doesn't matter what they look like. It's a man or a woman in my community that's doing awesome, and I can relate to that. And they came from my community, and I can be better too. Like, what do you got, Joe?
All right. So I got interested and involved in business from late 80s, all the 90s, and today.
Mhm.
And Youngstown has always been famous for their ethnic groups that stick together.
Right.
You had the Italians, you had the
Right.
Greeks, you all these people. What they would do is they would hire within their own ethnicity.
Mhm.
They would deal with customers and contracts within their ethnicity, and
Yeah.
they grew those groups because they kept outsiders out.
The Greeks do that.
For
Yeah,
sure.
the
It
Greeks
still
and Camel
happens
do
even
that.
today,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I first got involved in business, I infiltrated a lot of those groups, and which would have never happened
Right.
in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So this is just like a continuation of how the things are done in
Yeah.
Youngstown. Either you scrap it and make it all a meritocracy,
Right.
right? But in government, I disagree with that, because I think in private business you can get away with a lot of that stuff because you have choice of who to do business with.
Right.
Government, that's not you're representing people and your constituencies and whatever, and it's just not a fair version of it.
In theory, your hiring should reflect citizens. 80% black hiring should reflect that.
Why?
But that's, Lynn, it shouldn't be 80% because it's not 80% black. It's 40% black. So even in your own argument, they shouldn't all be black. 40% of them
I
should
think
be
she's
black.
just saying. I just think she's saying as an example, 80%. If you have an 80% black
But
town,
can you have a white person representing a constituency that's black and represent them well? So you're assuming because they don't share your skin color that they can't somehow defend you.
They don't understand you.
Right.
They don't understand you.
they don't
I don't buy
understand where
that.
you're from. They don't understand
buy
your
that.
town. Like I've heard some of
What if you have? So haven't you guys ever seen the videos online where they have they're blind, right? The people in this test are blind, and they're all they all can't see one another. And the test is there's 8 people, find the white person. And what they did was they took a white kid that grew up on the street in this town was raised by a black family, and the people around him voted out all, like, in each round you ask him questions, each round you vote somebody out until you find the white person. He made it all the way to the end because he was raised by a black family, grew up, and was able to get all of the lingo and understand all of the culture. So if there's somebody that grows up in Youngstown community and they're white, black, whatever they are,
Exactly.
they know the culture. It doesn't matter what
you
their
grew
skin
up in a
color is.
neighborhood. You're a white guy.
It
You
does not-
understand
yeah.
the people that live in that area.
Yeah.
100%
So it
electable.
doesn't matter if they come from the community and they're the best. I don't give a crap what they look like.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay,
Because
but
they're
even
still
even
part
not
of the
even coming
culture
from
itself.
not even coming from the neighborhood.
But they in
Let's
government
say-
they have to.
Right, but let's say I move into Youngstown.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really good at being a city manager,
Right.
or I'm really good at being a construction manager.
Yeah.
I'm really good at planning this stuff.
Right.
I'm not going to get hired
Right.
to do a good job. My goal is
Right.
to do the best job I can.
Right.
I know my stuff,
Right.
but I'm not going to get hired by the mayor of Youngstown because I'm white versus black. And I didn't grow up here.
So
But my job is to organize
Right.
the construction, organize this stuff. I'm very good at it.
that's happened. That has happened in Youngstown.
That's
there have
crazy.
There have been people hired that were to do the marketing and do city planning and stuff, and they left after a couple months because they're like, "Hey, I did planning in Denver, or wherever it was. I forget where she was from, but they hired her." And she was getting pushback, like, "No, that's not what we do here. No, that's not what we do here." But she's like, "I have experience making towns better that are bigger than this, and we should follow suit because they're nicer than our town." And they're like, "Nah, we don't do that around here."
Well, that's
stupid.
That's a whole nother thing. When you get into the towns saying or towns or organizations, that drives me crazy. That's not the way we do it. That's got to drive you crazy too. When you hear that.
Sure.
You're like me. It's like you want to be cutting edge. You want to do different things.
But when it comes to voting, though, like if somebody from outside the town moves to Youngstown, lives here for a year, and is like, "I want to run for mayor." I understand how the voters would be like, "Hey, you're not from around here.
That's fine. That's different."
And I don't want to vote for you because I think you would move us in a different direction. That's not about us.
We're not talking about elected officials.
Right.
We're talking about hired positions that have a job to do.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have a hired position, you should be hiring at any job, city, state, federal, Joe's companies that he owns. You know what I mean? You're going to want to hire the best people.
Yeah. Connie says, "Is his daughter-in-law still working for him?"
Yes.
What happened with that?
Yes, she got hired.
Does he still drive that car that he bought with the water money?
She got hired. She was third on the list. But because she lived in the city, she got bumped up. There's like bonus points for living in the city on this rating scale. She was third. If you take away the living in the city part, she was like seventh out of like 8 people. And she got hired.
So she was third, and she got
third with the points. I mean, but they said, "Oh, she was great for the job," and the people didn't know it was the mayor's daughter-in-law.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm sure they did it.
Shit.
I'm sure they did.
Bring back the mob. Bring back the mob. Nepotism. Yep, that's wrong. Yeah, the whole thing. Joe, did you have something? Were you going to say something?
I said it to him when you were away.
Yeah, oh, okay. Sorry, my brain just filtered back. I just can't. I just hire the right people. Hire the best people.
Hire the best people.
End of story. I know what the mayor was saying. I know why he was saying it, but that's wrong.
You know what I want to hear from? And I was gonna ask Isaac, the mail guy, but I was too scared because he's on the job and I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to get him in trouble.
But I would love for a black person to call in and tell us if they agree with that or disagree with that. You want me to call O'Keel? I don't think
O'Keel won't talk about it.
Can we call out?
Yeah,
call O'Keel.
Text him and let him know you're calling. Don't just call him live, for God's sakes.
Hold on. Let me ask him.
You can't just call him. Poor O'Keel. He O'Keel's been like. Could you imagine living with Isaac and call him?
Please stand by. Please, gentlemen. He didn't pick up. He's probably doing something.
Probably working like he's supposed to be.
Let me call him again. Hold on.
Going to our black correspondent, O'Keel.
Hey, what you doing? Hey, so the mayor said some things. Did you hear about what the mayor said?
I said it to him.
Hey, if I call you right now, from our radio show, can you, as my black friend, can you be our black representative and discuss your opinion of it as someone who used to live in Youngstown?
Not gonna do it.
Okay. He said maybe another day.
Told you he's not gonna do it.
Smartest guy in the room.
Love you, buddy. Bye.
And that's why I hired him, because he's smart.
He said maybe another day.
And that's why I hired him, because he's smart.
I was like, I with O'Keel, I've been like, hey, maybe we should do our own show where we just like sit down, shoot the shit, and like say like mildly racist things to one another and see what people think. And he's like, that's a terrible idea. Let's not do that.
All right. Do these words make anyone of any other race?
Alex says, do these words make anyone of any other race, not just white, confident in opening a business here or even applying for a city position? That's my point. You guys are focusing on white people. What he said extends to everyone else. Jews, Asian, Native
very
Eastern,
true.
Hispanics, etc. It scares everybody away.
We were
sixth, John said.
That is sixth. Sorry, John. Alex, that's a good point. We're just looking at it from our point of view, being white.
Right.
You're also taking out everybody else.
Everybody who's not looking like him.
What if you have people looking to invest in Youngstown and he says something like that and you get some Jewish people or some Asian people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are looking to invest.
Because what he's basically saying is we're on the side of people that look like us and not you.
That's a good point too. Good point, Alex. Good freaking point.
Yeah, let's just say that you had a project you want to bring before council or to the mayor, and you're not of the preferred skin color. Like somebody who doesn't have as good an idea as you do, is going to get preference, and that's just wrong.
Or like you said, yeah, exactly, Joe. So he's making those comments like that. Is he thinking like that when he's talking about grants for businesses?
Exactly.
Or is he talking about, are they saying, well, this isn't a black owner? Is he
thinking that? Yeah.
Is he thinking that?
Or you have somebody who's got a really good idea and then a black business owner or somebody who looks like him, whatever that is. And then he's like, well, that person looks like me. I'm going to pick them over that person, even though their idea is better.
Grants.
Yeah.
Tax businesses, anything. Wow.
Yep. That sucks.
That
really sucks.
That sucks. And like Alex, not just from any point of view other than that, that's crazy.
Right.
How could you as a mayor say that?
Right. And I do, and at the same time, I do think like being represented is important. And I feel like groups feel like they should be represented, but I don't think that changes the fact that you should still hire the best person. So like, oh man, I love Derek McDowell, and I've had conversations with Derek McDowell where I'm like, listen, man, I would do what you do because I love the way he talks. I love the way he runs a business in Youngstown. He's a all around good dude. And I think at the same time, like I've told him, I would take Tito's approach on top of your approach and go to the black churches and try and get that 40% of black. I would 100% do that.
You're trying to get
because I think it's going to have to be a black. I really do.
Getting elected is different than hiring.
Right.
That's the way I look at that.
Right.
You can't compare those two things. Right.
Yeah.
Like
you
just can't.
But I'm somewhere in the middle, man. I think I don't know.
But like
that's compared to the rest of the United States. Like, I think the rest of the United States 13% black, and then Youngstown is 40% black. That is a huge chunk of the demographic. And that was voters, right? 40% voters.
Yeah, yep. It lines with total demographics too. So the voter rolls were a little bit higher.
Exactly the same. Yep. Yeah.
And
it's just
and I do think it's sad that not a lot of people in Youngstown that live in Youngstown are voting either. It's very sad that there's like over 40,000 people in Youngstown and like 10,000 votes.
Yeah,
that's depressing.
That's crazy.
That's depressing.
Yeah, there's like 40,000
and that's not including us.
Registered voters
in Youngstown. That is just
So think of that. So you want to complain about not being represented, right?
Yeah.
But you only have a fourth of the people voting.
And it is your right to not vote, and I respect that, and I love that about living in America. But at the same time, it's like, man, you want your town to get better, you got to get out there and vote for people.
Right.
You would not believe the amount of felons that are allowed to be hired. You guys should really look into who is hired. It's crazy. I don't know enough about that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
John White, 7,600 votes in 2021.
It wasn't even 10,000.
Freaking depressing.
7,600 out of like 40,000 or it might even more. Maybe 60,000 the amount of people that live there. 40,000 are registered.
It just sucks. That just sucks.
I just can't. It's crazy.
That's really sad.
It's sad. It's sad.
Really, really sad.
It's sad. So the only people, like in my mind, you don't have to vote. It's your right to not to vote.
Right.
If you didn't vote, you shouldn't complain. I'm going to tell you that too.
Right.
If you live in the city, you shouldn't complain.
You want change. You have the ability to make that change through voting, and you don't.
76. I'd love to know of those 7,600 people, how many were black and white. You can't.
So that's
can we find that one out?
Right? That's that 40%.
No, that was just the registered voters.
Oh.
Of the 7,600 people in 2021, how many were black? How many were white?
I don't sign any documents. Well, I guess they could take it off my license when I go to
Asian.
vote. Yeah.
How many was that? Can you is that? Okay, we're gonna look it up. Hold on. This is gonna be interesting here.
What we're looking at right now is the screen that
I think I had too much caffeine this morning. Like
a little anxious.
Yeah, a little.
You drink a lot of water.
I am drinking water. A little anxious though.
Joe, aren't you supposed to be good with computers?
Dude, he's flying.
He's not going that fast. Like
he's flying.
For a guy that owns Youngstown Computer,
he's on a website.
One of the best computer stores in Youngstown. I think he'd be a little faster.
Actually, you can go into Youngstown Computers and see Evil Joe.
Yeah, Evil Joe works there.
Evil Joe, Joe's brother.
I met him a couple times, and I was like,
"It's like you,
Joe," and he's like, "That's not Joe. That's not Joe.
It looks like Joe.
That's not Joe.
It looks like Joe, but it's not Joe. It's like dark. It's like Joe. It's like Bizarro Joe." Can't find it.
No, it's just giving me overall numbers. It's not giving me demographic breakdown.
It would be so interesting to know how many of the 7,600 people were black and white and Caucasian and Asian and Chinese and Native American and all that
Whatever.
stuff.
Yeah. No
What else?
difference.
What else we're going to talk about? Do we have some national
Wasn't
stuff to
there a
talk about?
third? Wasn't there a third topic? Oh, that we could talk about the Canadian tariffs dropping.
Yeah.
Are we
Well,
going
that
to?
was what we were going to talk
The
about.
Canadian Prime Minister said, "Hey, I'll drop the tariffs if Trump drops the tariffs." And then
When was that? Today?
that was
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yesterday. So and
So
that
the
was
new,
including
the new guy that seems like a hard ass.
Yep.
Right. Like so
Big
I'm not gonna-
glosser, puffed out chest. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to deal with Trump. We're going to fight him back. All
We're-
that stuff.
Yeah. He
Okay.
doesn't even sound Canadian, which is so uncool.
Does-
Like at least Trudeau kind of sounded
how
Canadian.
does a Canadian sound? Can you do?
You
a Canadian?
know, we are nice people. We are nice people, and what Trump is doing to us, it's just not good. It's
It's
just
like-
not nice.
It's like
And we are a very nice people as
that's
Canadians.
not like Ontario Canadian. That's like above Minnesota.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's like Saskatchewan Canadian.
I was taking a dip in the jacuzzi last night, ripping a dart, and just thinking to myself about how mean Donald Trump is. You know there, bud.
I want to go down to the doctor and get my.
I want if I'm
my
gonna have a
healthcare.
Canadian Prime Minister, I want him to be a Canadian Prime Minister. This has nothing to do with skin color. This is just I want that voice.
Just every stereotype.
Yeah.
Canadian. Hockey jersey, Molson.
I was watching the Maple Leafs last night, bro, and I was just thinking about how mean Donald Trump is.
Joe
You know,
said it's a Saskatchewan Canadian.
it's just up there Canadian.
So funny.
I was thinking about Donald Trump last night and how mean he is. As Canadians, we're nice people.
All right. Let's see here. Wait, we got some comments. What you got? Kellen
I'll read Kellen's in a Canadian accent. Kellen Fliss says, a boat. It's not about. It's a boat. Melissa says, we would all win if they agree to zero tariffs like Israel just proposed, Almost seems like an artful deal because they were charging us a lot for decades.
I could listen to you do that voice all day. All day.
Do it.
I'm just gonna start talking. Like this all the time, there, bud.
That's just.
I'm just gonna start. This is just gonna be the new Isaac.
Tell you what, you do a phone interview for the city of Youngstown, they're not going to hire you. You are as white.
Listen, I know you boys down there want somebody that represents you. I really do think that I know about Youngstown.
They're going to be like, I don't know who this guy is. We just did a phone interview, but he is white as freaking sand.
Me and Tito, we can go outside. We can smoke a dart, sit in the jacuzzi, and if we gotta fight, just know buddies do fight. I'll throw your ass in a snowbank.
What did I didn't even hear it. We would all win if they agreed zero tariffs like Israel just proposed. Almost seems like an art. So anyways, the Canadian guy comes out.
Yep.
Says we're ready to deal.
Yep.
We're gonna wipe out all tariffs.
Yep.
Including the ones that before Trump.
Because there were like tariffs. I was reading there were like tariffs on eggs. There were tariffs on gas, farm, and the reason they were doing it was to make it even.
Protectionism. They were protecting their industries in Canada by making it very disadvantaged for them to import.
Because so
those
then that
things
way
from the
they
United
keep
States.
our prices high, so we can't flood their market with.
But if tariffs
Exactly.
are bad, why would they do that? Because they're protecting their own interests of their own industry.
Yeah, they were definitely
And it's been-
taking advantage
and
of
it's been in place for a long time.
Yep.
right.
So they've gotten over the early onset pain of the tariffs, and it's been there for so long that it protects their industry.
Right. So so we can't put our stuff up there cheaper than theirs, or
Right.
Canadians are buying our products versus their own farmers.
Protecting themselves.
So they're protecting themselves with
Yes,
tariffs.
just like the auto
Which
industry.
I don't think a lot of people understand that.
No. because-
Like the people who are against tariffs don't understand that there were tariffs in place on the U.S.
Right.
going into other countries.
Yeah.
And when I hear some of the people argue about that, it's like, how do you defend that?
What they defended is how you would defend it is you would say, if we level them all to zero, you are You put all the tariffs to zero, the advantage then falls in the United States. We don't need an advantage because they are worse off than we are, and we are punishing them.
Because we
we're
have
better,
bigger industry,
and we have
more people.
Correct. So that would be the argument against it, but that's the point. That's what Trump's trying to say. I am tired of being the adult in the room,
Right?
If I'm going to be the bully and you guys are going to try and shit on me, then I'll be the freaking bully, bro.
Right.
Lower the tariffs to zero, or else I'm matching you.
So the mayor comes out, or the whatever it is, the prime minister comes out, says we're going to deal. We're going to drop all the tariffs if you drop your tariffs. Then what happens?
So the Senate brought up a bill that was looking to squash the reciprocal tariffs, the fentanyl version of it, and it passed.
The Senate passed it.
They said, with a couple of I think there was 4 Republicans that joined the Democrats to block the tariffs on Canada. Not going to be signed, obviously not going to be an effective deal, so there's still a chance. But it was the timing wise, why would you give the negotiations right in the midst of it them like a middle finger saying, hey, Congress, we're not part of this, we don't support this kind of thing? It was terrible.
Well, it was politics is what it was.
For sure.
Right. And I'll bet those 4, I'd love to know who those 4 people were. They probably are.
One was Rand Paul, and I agree with Rand Paul on almost everything. But McCloskey was one of them. I'm going to look up
Rand Paul's. He's a libertarian.
Yeah. Right.
So why would he do that then? I guess what's the
he
point?
Said protectionism. He doesn't believe that tariffs should be used to protect industry. It should be open and free markets. So, but you can't. It's hard to even make that argument unless you didn't pay attention to that they're tariffing the shit out of us,
right,
with incoming goods.
Run it to zero. Then Rand Paul should say run it to zero. It should be 0 and 0. Let's see who wins.
Which is what Trump is trying to get out of these tariffs.
So that's the argument. The argument is Trump an idiot and he's just doing it, or is he playing a short game, or is he playing a long game?
Oh, I think he's playing a long game. I mean,
no, so
a short game.
Short game would be, I'm just trying to apply enough pressure
to get them to
drop off, and then
we're good. Said he's trying. That's what he tried to do. He's admitted he's trying to do that.
Yeah. So that's what everybody argues back and forth. No,
so the Senate passed it, but the House won't pass it.
It's dead. It's not going to be a signed thing.
It was just a statement.
It was symbolic.
So so is the Canadian guy still going to do it then?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you're going to see a lot of these countries. The only one that I'm concerned about
Vietnam
is the
dropped
EU.
half their tariffs. There's a bunch of countries that dropped their tariffs.
Yeah.
Cut their tariffs in half. Just as a hey, don't come for us, bro. We're fine.
If you notice the reciprocal, they picked, like, if let's just say the EU was charging us 60% tariffs.
Right.
We set ours at half of whatever they were charging us. So it was 30, which means that there's going to be a future. If you don't come off this really quick,
we're going to do it even more.
It's going to
he's firing off things off the port bow kind of thing.
Exactly. Like, so you know what's coming.
Yeah. Right. The far right people are saying, it's the art of the deal, right? It's Trump's art of the deal and flexing my muscles, and I'm gonna show them and negotiate with them, and they're gonna all fall off. They're all gonna bow before me.
I mean, I get why he's doing it.
I do too, 100%. Like I
get it.
I think it should, like, what makes me physically angry, is when these countries where we've helped them are now talking crap about us and trying to make it, like, and the left's trying to make it cool that, like, patriotism, if you have patriotism, you're not, like, that's not cool anymore.
Right.
Hating America is cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds good, Europe. If you don't like us, fine.
Yeah.
Then I'm just over that, man.
All right. So let me take Canada aside.
Go.
So let's just say that these tariffs were truly protecting Canada's economy.
Okay.
And you make it 0, and then exactly what you feared will happen is you get swarmed with goods coming from the United States, which is really good for us. But then their economy and their industry start getting crippled because of that huge influx.
Right.
and you're the prime minister,
Yeah.
and you did it because you were defending against what would happen if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But still, that doesn't help your industries now who are decimated because of what the United States are.
I-
We definitely are a bigger economy, and we could do that.
And we're
Right.
bullying them as well.
And then the
Basically,
funny, and then the thing that's stupid too is that prime minister goes up there and says, this is going to hurt American people. Listen, bro, it's going to hurt your people too.
Yeah.
Like it's going to hurt
Yeah.
your people too.
I mean,
stop
it's
trying to make the American people
Scared,
hate
yeah.
their leaders
Right.
because you're trying to scare them into thinking that. No, it's going to hurt your people too, and they're in charge of you. Maybe you should care more about them instead of us.
yeah.
Like that.
I mean, well, I think that's why he's saying that. He's trying to put pressure on the president and trying to put pressure
through
on
the
them.
American people.
Yeah,
Hey,
100%.
address
Political.
your own
Yeah,
people.
Political. It's a political.
And if they were humble about it and they said that's one of their fears, so if we do this, it's a fair thing, but we're going to get hurt by this, America would do what we always do, is help that country out through
Yeah.
what just happened. So,
Right.
but they're taking this blustery, I'm
every
too big.
single country that has a tariff on us, I think we should match them, and then we should start minding our own business. And when they come to us and they say, hey, we'll drop our tariffs, you drop your tariffs, sounds good. And
I
then
was
just do
actually-
that
I was-
over and over
I
until
was-
everybody's at zero, and then we're out,
Free
guys.
trade.
You guys think we're pieces of shit? We're pieces of shit. See you later. Good luck with everything. Hey, Israel, good luck. Hey, and Israel loves us. Like they try,
Yeah.
but I don't think we should be involved. I don't think we should be involved in Ukraine. We should just drop everything and say we're out. And if you need our help, cool, but it's going to be debt. You're going to
Yeah.
owe us.
So you think like the trading of mineral rights and having some guaranteed loans and whatever, if we help you, you got to find something in your economy to help us back
Yeah,
and make it
Yeah,
reciprocal.
there's going to be debt. We have a debt problem. We have a debt problem
Right.
in America. You are going to help us pay our debt if you want our military. You are going to help us pay everything that we owe, all of our debt. If you want our products, if you want our cars, if you want everything, we have a debt problem. I'm tired of going to Europe and Europe being like, hey, we take off work at 3 p.m. and the military of the United States is going to protect us and everything's fine. You want us to protect you, then you have to pay for it. I think that is totally not a big ask.
But what if they don't pay for it and then they get taken over by Russia and Russia spreads? That's the argument.
I think what we should do in that scenario, if Russia takes over a country and the other countries say, hey, what are you doing? Why don't you come help us? We say, hey, you guys are doing your thing over there trying to fight off the Russians. We'll give equal percentage of troops that your biggest country or biggest army over there that's going to help Ukraine. We'll match that. But at the same time, I understand what you're going through, but we have helped for so long and we can't afford to do that. So you need to help us pay our debt down.
Well, and honestly, if we become the economic powerhouse, we could punish countries like Russia, like China, not using the military. We can use the economic might to do the same thing.
And I've talked about this before. The only downfall of this plan would be if all of those countries are now used to being the baby mama. They're used to being their hands held and like, oh, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
And China just swoops in and is like, hey, come over to the Chinese.
We'll help.
We won't work it with you like that.
We won't be rude to you. We're going to be nice to you. Just switch it. Don't use the US dollar anymore. We'll protect you.
That
And
is
then
a huge thing.
we are both.
Yeah,
when
Big
that
time.
happens. So how do you avoid that? Did I just
Right.
screw something up, Joe?
Yeah, that makes sense too. My understanding is tariffs in Canada had in place only go into effect after a certain threshold, which has yet to have been met. They are a protection for Canada. That is incorrect. I've read that and I actually researched that. So example is there's an egg tariff after so many eggs go into whatever, then the tariffs go in place, right? That somebody quoted that one and I looked it up. You can Google it, you fact check me. That hits almost every month where the tariff goes into place. It goes in like the threshold is almost always hit on those tariffs. And again, I saw that a couple times and a guy was like, oh no, they never hit the thresholds. That is totally untrue. They hit them every time. You could fact check me on that. So,
And you know who's really good at that is like keeping their head down and only doing what's in their best interest? Friggin' China.
Oh, dude, they're just
They just
They're
they
playing
just,
that long game.
yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
are playing
Oh.
the long game. We're like, yeah, sure, and they just do whatever they want.
yeah, fight, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're like taking our technology and hacking into our systems, taking our tech, and then when we're like, "Hey, did you do that?" They're like, "What are you talking about? We didn't do that. we didn't do that. We didn't take all your information." They're like, yeah, you have these really cool EVs, and it's almost like you stole all of our information."
no.
And we didn't do that. Why would we do
You
that?
know who's sending them that stuff, right?
Elon Musk,
No,
It's Trump.
the Asians that are in college.
dude. Look into
That's what they said. I was reading.
look
Yeah.
into like the property ownership in like other countries that are allowed to buy property in the United States, and it's like they're using our own free market system against us.
Oh,
To, like,
yeah. I
buy
got an
own-
example of
our
that.
own freedoms. Yeah, like buying properties next to air bases. Like, what do you think they're doing, bro?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
next to
Yeah.
nuclear sites, buying swaths of land. Like they're sitting there with binoculars. Like, we really think they're not doing that?
They're
Why are
buying land all around like
Yeah,
a
and they're
nuclear,
just
like a nuclear shelter.
wonder
like
what
in
they're
the
doing.
ground.
Oh, guys, they got a new rocket. Let's build that. Let's build. I got it. I got the blueprints. We just stole it. We're gonna go make that.
I just picture,
Like, why
I
are
just
they
picture,
allowed to buy
like one
land?
of those circle things in the ground where the nukes come out of,
Yeah.
and they're just all around it is just
Yeah.
Asian farmers.
And the
Like-
U.S.
like-
government, the U.S. government's like, not a big deal. You know, it's their freedom. They can do that. Like, no. Outside adversaries should not be able to buy massive swaths of land around our military.
Why does that farmer have those giant telescope looking at us?
Yeah,
Right? Wow.
It just doesn't make
So
sense.
I was
What's
reading a Substack from a computer science guy, and he was writing some software for artificial intelligence. And as he wasn't even ready to go to market with it. He was in the late stages, and somebody from China came to him and said, "We're interested in licensing your AI stuff." And he was like beaming because
Yeah.
he got no offers at this point. And they licensed it for 1 year, right?
Which
They
is
got
okay.
documented what the AI was. They hijacked it, canceled the renewal of the contract, and this guy's looking around like, I don't have anything anymore. I made
wow.
$100,000 for this 5 years of my work,
And
and
they
I got
took it.
nothing. They just took it. And what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna sue them in international
Yeah.
Get a
court?
look. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Wow. But he took the money right out of the gate.
Took it.
And
Done.
they are pretty good at the
Wow.
maths. They're pretty
And
good.
they get to you before you know really what you're doing, so they can hijack the technology before you get proper protections and have enough money
Wow.
to defend
and,
yourself.
and the benefit of an authoritarian government like China, even though they call themselves a democracy, would be that they can move way faster
Yes.
than a free system can.
Yes.
Because it's just from the top down. Hey, go do this. We told you to do it. Go
Yes.
do it now. Whereas there's all the red tape of our
Right.
government, and they know that. And
Heck
they're using
yeah.
it against
They are
them.
smart. They're ruthless and they're
Yeah.
smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they've been around for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Plotting and planning. Wow. That's interesting. I don't know. What else? So what's going to happen, Joe? Tell me what's going to happen with these tariffs. What is the route here? Like, because everything I hear, okay, so we put these tariffs in place.
Yes.
We're supposed to build our own manufacturing and build our own stuff to support it. But that takes years and years and years.
I don't think we're going to get there.
You're not
I've
gonna
changed
get
my mind. Before, I thought that it was going to take months of haggling with these countries to lower their tariffs. If Canada was quick after all that bluster was to come down to zero, you're going to watch it. Except for the EU, that's the only one I don't think is going to come begging. But I think once one goes, they're going to just dominate. Yeah,
And it's all going to drop their
free trade.
tariffs,
Yep.
and it's going to be free trade across the board.
And then at that point, we are in a position where we are much stronger than everybody else.
Yep.
Because of it. Yeah.
And then we're making money. And I heard something like with tariffs. So this is something I heard. Tariffs don't affect the country; they affect the companies.
No, it affects
It affects the people,
it affects the companies
because
and
the
then
companies
companies
bump their
push it
price
on to
up,
the prices.
and then the prices go up.
yes.
And it doesn't
because
affect.
the raw materials and the stuff you're buying are cheaper because you're taking advantage of the lower cost of labor in those other countries.
Right.
You build it here and it's more expensive. So if you jack up the tariffs, now they're equal. Now you got to buy something here in the United States, which costs more.
Because
and then the end result is it costs more.
But
as
the
well.
way things are heading, it's just so. And I do think like tariffs on automakers. If you're buying a new car from Europe, it's like $10,000 more expensive. That sucks. But at the same time, as we move forward and as we're looking back, you just know the left is going to take the approach of prices are so high because of tariffs. That's what they're going to try and say. But this problem originated with inflation, which was because of money money printing during COVID. So yes, tariffs affect the price, but it's not all the tariffs' fault and the business's fault that prices are going up. Yes, I think some of the businesses are greedy, and some of the CEOs and board members are
100%.
making way too much freaking money when they should be trying to be more aggressive and lower the prices. But at the same time, your government boned you when they printed 80% of our dollars during COVID. You have a baseball card that's worth $1 million, and you go and that company goes and makes 99 more of those same baseball cards. You've lost 100% of your value. Right. That card goes down 100, like a massive amount of money. Like they're inflating our dollar value. You need to it's not all because of tariffs, and I guarantee that's my bet is in the future they're going to blame it all on tariffs, the price of everything going up.
Erica says that sounds great, but most Americans can't afford to. Like to just buy American. Would you buy American first?
So,
if you have a product you want,
if
it's 20% higher,
right?
But it's made in America.
No, I buy the cheaper. I would buy it would depend on the quality of the product too. It's
same quality, same
like
product,
I drive a Nissan.
Same product, same quality, close to the same. Right. Would you spend 20% more on an American-made product?
I wouldn't. I'd go the cheaper option. Of
That's
course.
what I bet 95% of
I would go the
Americans
cheaper option.
Now,
but what Trump's doing, what they're doing with tariffs is they're trying to force your hand. They're trying to say, well, this one's 20. This is the same price. So
that's technically what they're trying to do.
I do understand that, Erica, that most Americans are like, no, that sucks because now it's 20% more.
Well, what about in your budget? If I lowered the cost of something else, like energy price goes down by 20%, and now
100%.
you can afford to move your energy that you were spending into paying more for an American-made product.
Yeah, but Americans are stupid, and we all have debt problems, and we all spend way too much freaking money. We don't even have a.
You're not going to spend more money on a product, even if you have extra capital.
You're going to buy the cheaper option.
You're going to still buy the cheaper option,
right? If it's equal quality.
And I'll bet, like I said, 95% of the people won't spend more money on an American-made product. 95% of Americans.
And what we as consumers should do is say, if you're going to make an American product, make it better so that I pick that and it's worth that 20% difference.
But then that's going to cost more to make that product, even more. Then you're instead of being 20%.
Yeah, American labor is more expensive. It really is.
The business's job to find ways to make it better and make it cheaper.
That's how you do that, is you buy stuff from China and ship it over here because it's cheaper.
Right.
That's how, seriously, right? That's how you do it. That's how it is right now.
During COVID, we learned that lesson that there is security in having everything. No, 100%. Because when you can't get microchips from China, you don't have cars, and then the price of everything goes 100%. Through the roof. Yep. So there is some security in having everything in America.
Like American made, I wouldn't do that. Like I honestly, I'm going to buy the cheaper product. Like you have to. Like at this point, I have 4 freaking boys under 19 living at my house. You can't afford to.
Right.
But what I do, and I don't know what you guys do, is I always go to local stores when I can.
Yeah.
To buy appliances, to buy gas, to buy, you know what I mean? I try and do local stuff like that because I think local stuff is more.
Unless the price is considerably different.
Bingo. Yeah. Like considerably different.
Yeah.
Like if I want to go get I bought a dishwasher from C-Max. Shout out to C-Max.
Right.
They were the exact same price, if not lower, than the stuff at Home Depot and a better product. So why would I not go? Right.
Kellen, Kellen's, would you shop local or pay less or shop?
We're on the same thing.
Here's the thing. And I've caught myself doing this, and I feel so bad that I do it.
Amazon.
Yeah. So I absolutely love the shoe store in Boardman on 224.
Shoe Carnival.
No, the running shoe place.
Second Soul.
Love Second Soul.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. No, not even expensive. I love their product. I love their service they offer you. Hey, you can walk around. Like the people in there are so friendly. Yeah. But the problem is the product. Like they have, like I want to mix shoes, and match. Right? They have, and they have my sizes. They have 14s. Yeah. They have 15s. But their colors, like you have more options when you go online.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, man, they only have black and white. I want these all whites that I found on Amazon, and it's like, I almost. So I just buy the shoes on Amazon because it's a different color that I like, that I feel more comfortable in. It's like, damn, it's the same price.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know I could go to this, and I don't even want to go to the store and try on the shoes and go through the whole service and be like, yeah, I found other colors online, but like, you know,
I try like shoes are, I'm a size 15 wide. There's no way. Like I can't buy local. I've never been.
I've heard, Kellen says, I've heard Amazon won't donate to your kids' school and sports fundraiser. If you visit local business to support your fundraisers, then you support their raises 100%.
There you go.
Yeah,
Even if it costs you more.
And at the same time, those local businesses should be donating back to the community, because how many people do we have that call us that say, hey, you donated my kid's sports thing.
God.
Well, I want to use you for financing and I want to use you for real estate. So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
There's businesses like I would be thinking about if Second Soul donated money to South Range or affected my life in some way, I'd be like, yeah, screw Amazon. I'm going to Second Soul.
We as realtors and loan officers pay for zero advertising.
Right.
Newspapers,
Nothing.
TV,
Yeah.
radio. We
'Cause
pay
it's
for
too much of a
zero.
hassle to go through the
Well,
stupid bank anyways. No, I love my job.
I
love
personally like advertising through, I'd rather spend $2,000 to $3,000 a month
Right.
giving,
Right.
buying a little sports team that says the MLO Bros.
Right. Like South Range baseball team.
Exactly.
We made the target with our faces on it.
Right. That to me is better money spent than a newspaper, a radio, a billboard, any of that
Because
crap.
we're affecting those boys' lives. They're
100%.
thinking they put a stupid sign in the field that we can aim at. And if we hit a home run, they'll pay for our food.
Yeah.
Then they go tell all their buddies, they go tell all their parents,
100%.
and they say, hey, these guys sponsor. Well, what do those guys do?
They
have a stupid podcast. They're also loan officers and real estate agents. Maybe you should call.
I wish more companies would do that instead of billboards and do that instead of that kind of stuff.
And then on top of that, we have our advertising through our everything groups. We take all that money and donate it back.
Yep.
We don't take a penny from that. We donate it back to the sports teams and making fun advertising for the sports teams and sponsoring different kids programs and stuff.
I wish more
because
companies would do that.
Money
really
well spent, man. We get more business from that.
100%.
And that's what pays our bills.
100%.
Rather than putting a stupid billboard up, which I do have a billboard that I got for free that's coming
to Cortland.
That's
I gotta go to Cortland actually right now.
April 7th. You got to wait a couple of days, dude.
I know, but I do have to go to Cortland.
Why do you have to go to Cortland? That's dumb.
Oh, job. Looking at property, commercial property.
Nice. Got a commercial.
All right. Anything else? Because I gotta go.
That's about it.
We got it, Joe. Anything else?
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for. Tomorrow.
Yes.
We got an extra show.
I'm gonna
Bonus
come in
time.
tomorrow. Stupid politics,
dude. It's Al Catrona.
I
Al
get it.
Catrona's coming. We need questions. If you have questions, message us, the MLO Bros, and let us know what the questions are for Al Catrona, or you'll be able to call in. His guy just called me. It's like, oh, I want to talk about tomorrow. He probably wants to know what we're going to talk about. What do I tell him? Nothing. We don't know. School stuff. Like, what do I tell him?
From Al Catrona's?
Yeah, he
group?
called me.
Tell him I want to talk about that bill where they're giving discounts to gym memberships.
Discounts to gym memberships.
Discounts on taxes if you get gym membership.
This freaking guy. This kid's gonna be like,
and then tell him I want to have a push-up contest with Al Catrona. If he wants to talk
discounts.
about
Hold on, let me write this down. Discounts to gym. Push-up contest.
Actually, say we'll have a bench press in here. Tell him to get through the door. He's got to be able to bench press 225.
I bet he could. He looks like a big. I don't know. Is he a big guy? He's an ex-Marine.
Ask him if he can bench press 225.
I'm not going to ask his
Say that's going to
helper.
be one of my questions. Can he bench press 225? Do you know 97% of gym goers can't bench press 225?
Seriously?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
95%.
Like over 90. I think it's like 97%. Only 3% of gym goers can bench press 225. We just don't realize it because we're big boys.
How many times do you bench press?
Like
10?
225? Like 10. Yeah.
10. That's about what I'm at too. 10.
Which is crazy impressive. Like,
well, I also outweigh you by 60 pounds.
Right. You got we are big boys.
Yeah.
I'm 225, so I'm bench pressing my body weight.
That's impressive.
If
See, that's
Joe-
impressive.
If Joe tries to do 225, he can't do it.
But it's the
he's
weight
way lighter.
Yeah.
So he's got way lighter weight.
Right. And that's like easier for me because I'm bigger than him.
But ask him if he can bench press. That's going to be my
Katie
question.
bench press 225.
Also,
any other questions we'd like to ask Catrona? Anybody else?
If he's going to pass a bill on gyms, I want him to be able to.
I want to talk
lift
about
weight.
school funding. I keep hearing people talk about him cutting school funding. I don't know if he's involved in that or not. School funding.
This is what we do when you're not watching, ladies and gentlemen. We just sit here and think about what we're going to talk about.
We really don't. We have no plan. This is the most planning I've ever done in my life.
Right. We have somebody serious coming tomorrow.
School funding.
We usually just
we have somebody serious coming tomorrow. Can he bench press 225?
I think that's a legitimate question. You're gonna pass laws. You're gonna pass laws about gyms. You should. Let's see if we can bench press 225. And we're gonna tell them we're gonna have a bench press in here, and we're gonna do it on camera together. We're gonna get a little lift in.
Okay. There's somebody else made a comment that he wanted to burn ban book banning. There was another, but it was like before.
Dude, you're gonna ban Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings like the left thing.
He's the one that submitted that bill that was the wait to have kids before you get married, go to college and get a job.
Things,
yeah,
the
so that's a good one.
Bill.
Talking about that sucker.
3-thing bill.
Hey guys, I know we talked about this today, but can you believe Joe Danyi doing this shit?
What did he do?
Amazon Basics Notepad. Support local, Joe.
Dude. What? Can't you buy it from a local paper company?
Listen, do you think I do my procurement here? Do you think I bought that?
Or BJ, you suck. Start buying American.
I bet he buys his fedoras from China too.
BJ, you call me bastard. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys all later. See you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
Well, hey, before we go, call us. You need a mortgage? You need a real estate agent? Call us. You need to start doing a podcast. Joe's here, Youngstown Studio, live in Youngstown. You can come down here and make a podcast about how much we suck or whatever you want to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, go down below, give us a like, give us a follow, give Youngstown Studio a follow, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook.